have Ikua, and she's going to talk to us about what is a doula, what their role is, what they can do for you and offer you in terms of supporting you through your pregnancy and especially during this time. So I don't want to take up too much time talking. So Ikua, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you'd like for us to know, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Danya. It's an honor. I'm so glad you're creating the space to have this conversation because you can't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
This is something that a lot of women do and have been doing for a long time and will continue to do. And so there can't be enough conversation because life is changing. So thank you for creating this space to do that. I'm Ikua Ansa Samuels. I am a doula, a lactation counselor. I like to see myself as a public health doula. Not only do I support women, one-on-one in their birth experience, but I also have those public health lenses that help me to think more broadly, more systematically, also about increasing access of doula care and just the systems and improving the systems that create the disparities that we keep reading about and what we can do in our work as birth workers, as nurses, as healthcare providers, as the community to make things better. So those lenses are always kind of on as well. So I spend as much time kind of doing writing and coordinating as much as I do providing doula care. And it's always an honor to serve in this way. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the work that you do, for the passion that you have for helping expectant families. And you mentioned about the health disparities that we're currently facing. As many of you have maybe been following the news recently about how African American or Black people have been affected by disproportionately by COVID, and it actually just serves to highlight what the pre-existing issues in our healthcare system have always been with the inequitable treatment of minorities. And so this is basically just bringing those things to light. And those disparities extend especially over into maternal health, because we know now, and the information, like I've said previously, has been there, but just not on the forefront. And now we know more about the disparities in Black maternal health, especially how we're more likely to die during childbirth and shortly thereafter. So this is another reason why I'm doing this, to kind of raise your awareness, to get the information out there, to give you resources so that we can slowly turn this thing around. So I'll ask you a couple of questions before we get in. Ikua has put together a nice little presentation for us to kind of break down what the role of a doula is, and then we'll also have some more conversation afterwards. But before we get into the presentation, why did you decide to become a doula?
Doula care is a marriage of sorts for me, between, I had a career in public health as a health educator, which centered around reproductive health, talking to teens about pregnancy prevention and STI prevention, and, talking to women about the same thing, and doing healthy relationship work and HIV prevention work. And it naturally progressed into doula care. So it was like a marriage between that health educator in me that centered around reproductive health care and my natural inclination to support women and to care, and that nurturing in me that also drives me. So it was a natural marriage. And I was actually at, a community-based organization working, and my CEO, said, hey, write a grant for doula care. And that's when I actually learned what a doula was. I had 3 children already, home births, and I still didn't know what a doula was. This was in 2009. And so I did some research. I learned what it was. I worked with my colleagues and we wrote a grant, got a little bit of money. I went and trained to be a doula. I was in love. We trained other doulas, and then we started the work of supporting women. I think that year we supported 20 low-income women. And then we trained more doulas, and we collaborated with sister organizations and community women and did advocacy and got more grant funding, and just, began to, train doulas who, look like the community that they would serve, and also increase access to women who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford a doula.
Right.
So that's kind of my doula birth story.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And forgive me if I missed. How long have you been doing this? So how long has it been?
Since 2009. So when I started, when I would speak to people about doula care, particularly women in our community, it'd be, do who?
Right.
Why
I still have that reaction. Yeah.
Not as much, because now they're like, women, know what it is and know that they want it. But at first, part of the work also entailed educating women about what a doula was, and how it could benefit them in what they're in this endeavor that they were going into. And so, in 2009, very few women in our communities knew what a doula was. And I'm so happy when I see, doulas, even in the general population. It's like, oh, you're a doula, okay. And it just brings me joy, because I know that doula care is an integral part of having, a safe and also, fulfilling birth experience.
Awesome. All right. So I'd like for you to go ahead and start your presentation, so you can give us a little lesson on what exactly is a doula and what you guys do.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Let me expand this. Okay, are we looking good?
If you guys in the chat, if you could just let us know if everything is showing properly. And yep, okay, someone says yes, so we're good.
Excellent. So let me just move this over a bit so I can see my own slide.
Oh yeah, I should probably move this little bubble. The thing is trying to get this right in terms of, because I want everybody to still see your face, but also see the presentation. There we go.
So we're good. So what is a doula? So if I give you the textbook definition of a doula, it's a trained professional who provides continuous physical, emotional, and informational support to a mother before, during, and shortly after childbirth to help her achieve the healthiest, most satisfying birth experience possible. I